Gabby.
Yes.
You are in my house. Welcome.
I know. Thank you.
And you're doing a little staycation in Sag Harbor?
Yes.
All right, so I'm going to give you all the spots. I watched your shows to get prepared. I watched certain Bachelor seasons, but not obviously all of them.
Yeah.
So I went in deep to
Oh my God.
to watch
bless you. I'm so sorry.
I mean, I did not realize how many seasons there actually were.
Yeah.
And I was instantly drawn to you, so we'll get into
thank
that.
you.
But you do not look as tall on television.
Yeah, I know. I think it's like a thing because you're always being shown from the waist up. So nobody actually knows how tall you are. When you pack for The Bachelor, they're like, don't worry about your shoes. They'll never see your feet. So it's like
Really?
they don't really see your legs.
Wait,
yeah.
that's because to me, if someone said describe her, I'd be like, she's this cute little pixie doll. She's like petite. And you walked in, I'm like, oh my God, this glamazon walked in my house. How tall are you?
I'm 5'8". And I'm constantly in heels. I'm never in a flat shoe.
And you're all legs.
Yes.
So you just
have long
appear.
legs.
You have a very striking presence. It's funny how TV
thank you.
is very different. And you're blonde?
Yes, I'm newly blonde. Well, I was a blonde before Bachelor, but quarantine, I wanted to try something different. So now that I'm going back blonde, it's like a controversy online. People love to talk about it, but this is like my natural state. A box blonde.
Wait,
is
why
my
do
natural
people
state.
love to talk? But why is it controversial? Because they feel like you're trying to be something you're not?
I think a little bit because it was like after I moved to LA. So they're like, don't be like a basic LA bitch. And it's like, ugh, first of all, I am what I am and I'm as basic as they come. It's not LA. It's deep in my soul. It's like different. And I think, they're just so, people really get attached to you and like what you look like. So I think they're just really attached to my brown hair.
Well, it comes through. You don't,
Yes,
that's what a box blonde is. I mean, there's a lot of roots. It looks very it looks hard to keep this up.
It's not. It's easier because this is like my natural is lighter than when I was dark. So when my hair would grow out when I was dark, first of all, thank you for giving me a chance to talk about this.
Really? This is why we are here, obviously.
I've thought a lot about it. I have a lot to say.
All right, I want to hear because I do beauty reviews and I'm fascinated because I color my hair at home.
Okay.
And
amazing.
Recently I went to get it professionally done and she said you have like 7 colors of hair in your hair because I didn't know. Each little chunk going down to the roots.
Literally, it
has a different color. It's like a patchwork quilt.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I've been there. Every time my hairdresser sees me, they're like, you're a different color. So God bless them. I have 2 really great people, one in Colorado, one in LA.
Okay. So tell me. Tell us.
So I'm like a chestnut, they call it. It's like a dark blonde, kind of lighter brown.
It's like a chestnut filly. Like it's a little red too, chestnut.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. And it pulls red easy. So when I was really dark, it would go red so easy. It would always fade, like really warm.
Okay.
And my roots would come in and I'd look gray because my hair is so much lighter than the brown. I mean, I was lighter than you, but like not much. I was really dark, but nobody actually knew what my hair color was because it would literally change during the season. So this doesn't fade as much for me. And like, I like to have a root so it can just grow out on its own.
Well, it's interesting that in Bachelor Nation, it's controversial to change your hair color because in Housewives Nation, you could have a different hair color every scene.
Nation. That's what I want. I'm like, you guys have to get used to it. It's a part of me. I know like people are still learning a lot about me. They wouldn't let me dye my hair while we were filming. I got highlights before I was the Bachelorette and they sent in like a team last second to take me back dark. I was like crying on the phone, screaming at a producer. I'm like, I should have free will.
So you're here to say that you identify as a multicolored hair person.
Yes,
you don't want to be put in a box.
No, I want the room to have like whatever kind of hair I want. I'll always change it.
Okay, so that's what we're here.
All right, clearing it up.
You're welcome. Nice to meet you. Thanks for coming, and we'll talk to you. Okay. All right, so you're in the Hamptons, and you're here with your girlfriend.
Yes.
So do you both say, this is my girlfriend, this is my life partner? What do you call Robbie?
Girlfriend.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Robbie, how long have you known her?
Like 5 months. I think almost. Maybe 4.5. I round up because I feel like lesbian years are like dog years. Like it multiplies. We spend a lot of time together. And August is a long month. And July. So you have like a couple extra days, like an extra
summer
week.
is different. You're talking about like it's also a summer romance folded in, plus 2 women who one might think love maybe more intensely and more deeply.
It is.
So that's why it's dog years. Okay.
Yeah.
And we're going to get into that. Does it fascinate you that people are so fascinated with your girlfriend or your life partner, or it makes perfect sense because of the shows that you were on?
I think it does make sense. Bachelor Nation is really loyal, and I'm like so grateful for them. I feel like they've really stuck to me.
Wow.
Which isn't the case for everybody. I know sometimes they have really strong opinions, and that's okay. Like, I do understand that there is a piece of going on reality TV that TV in general, if you want to live your life like with a platform, you're opening yourself up to like some kind of criticism and scrutiny. So I know people are going to have an opinion, and that's okay. But I do feel like for the most part, they've like had my back, and they're treating Robbie like she's one of us.
Wow.
And it's like the best feeling ever.
I bet that I don't know her. We'll meet her. But the last thing that I imagine that she would have thought in her life that she'd be part of Bachelor Nation now.
Yeah, the last. She said she won the Bachelor now. That's how she says it. She's like, I won the Bachelor. We went to AFR and like it was live or whatever after the final rose for this last season. And I'm like, I didn't think she would want to go. I'm like, do you want to go? She's like, duh. Like, I won the Bachelor.
Yeah, she's like on Candyland when you go directly to get the piece of candy. You don't have to go through all the little pieces.
Literally.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
She got the prize.
She has a shortcut. She's like so proud. She's like, look at this. And I'm like, oh my God.
That's amazing. And all right, so you are more than who you're dating. So we will get into who you're dating, but let's get in.
That's okay. It's my favorite topic right now too.
I would imagine. I would imagine, okay, so we're going to get into that. But so what made you go on to The Bachelor?
I was single for years. I had just moved out of Denver. I was travel nursing during COVID. So I was a Denver Broncos cheerleader for 5 years, and I decided to kind of like, I used an excuse almost to like fade out because it was the year of COVID. We really didn't know what the season was going to hold for us. Normally, it's really grueling, the schedule. Like, you have no time off. You can't really travel because you always have to be there for practices and games. So I'm like, I want to take this time. Like, we don't know what our schedule is going to look like. I'm going to travel nurse, do something different.
Wow.
And I ended up in LA and officially retired from NFL cheerleading. No 401k. That's okay. I'm an alumni.
The retirement plan. That's how it was 5 years?
5 years.
That's a long career in Denver Bronco land.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
That's funny.
Some of the best years of my life. But then I moved to LA. I'm like, okay, I was nominated a couple years prior by some friends, and I had dated somebody kind of like a heartthrob, I'd say, in Bachelor Nation. So like literally on my application, it was like dated, his name's Dean, dated Dean, like Denver Broncos cheerleader, and they like called me the next day.
Of course. Yeah, it's a good resume.
Yeah.
Have you come across other Denver Broncos cheerleaders in this process? I would feel like they would be the perfect prototype for Bachelor Nation.
Not a lot of cheerleaders, a lot of Disney princesses.
Really?
Weird. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That work at the park?
Yeah.
That's so funny because I've always said that a great reality show, Disney would never allow it and the princesses would never be able to do it. Yeah. But a great reality show would be showing Disney princesses after dark.
Yeah.
Like what really goes on after dark.
Oh, I bet there's a lot. It sounds very strict.
Yes.
And you like live in tight quarters. It's incestual.
Yes. It would be an amazing, I'm sure Disney's going to love that. And I can't wait to get a lawsuit. I can't wait for us to get a letter from Disney, who also owns ABC, who also produces the
no, we didn't mean it. We're just talking.
She was just kidding. We didn't mean it. Sorry. Okay. So then you were a traveling nurse, which I didn't even know was a thing. And what do you go with an agency and they place you?
Yeah. You have a third party agency. You kind of just go in. Initially, it was like founded, I think, for when staff nurses went on maternity leave. And so you would need somebody to come in for 3 months while they were on maternity leave and then could come back. So it's kind of like a relief position. Now it's a little more stable. It's a way for nurses to make more money, basically, because you don't make any money without like per diem or kind of working these like as needed jobs.
You can make good money as a traveling nurse.
Yeah.
And where do you stay? You have to figure that out yourself?
Yeah. There's like B&Bs. Yeah, because you get a stipend for a living that's like non-tax. So travel nurses are savvy.
Nurses are savvy.
With their finances.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like it's like flight attendants are really savvy with their finances too. You're just used to being efficient and organized. And
yes.
Yeah. And
I also don't want to flag myself. IRS, I hope you're not listening. I'm not a nurse anymore.
No, but even if you are, they're very savvy. No, I think that's an interesting thing that isn't discussed enough. Nurses are savvy. It's
and because you just don't get paid anything, much like teachers. Like, it's like I started when I was
thinking that too. Hustle. You got to figure out a way to hustle.
Exactly. I started when I was 22. I took what was given to me. money. I stayed in the town that I was in. And I'm like, I'm making no money. How do I make money? I'm like into my 30s and I'm still working paycheck to paycheck.
Interesting.
That's basically like
I'm
the
thinking
only
of
way.
the teachers who have all these Amazon wish lists, and I feel like nurses should do it too with all the things that they want to have to be a better nurse, like for your patients, having things that you give out, or maybe, entertainment supplies for people while they're sick, because I like that. I'm buying a lot of Amazon supplies for teachers, and I'm loving the creative things that they're putting on their wish list that I'm buying for these kids for their classrooms.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I like, okay, so wow, that's amazing. Okay, so then you get on The Bachelor. Now, let's get serious. When you get on The Bachelor, what percentage, honestly, are you thinking, I'm going to really find a partner? What percentage, oh my God, this is going to be great. I'm going to be famous and I'm young and this is going to be such a cool experience. You're on season 19. So you're the system is well in. So I'm saying being a housewife, season 1 was very different from being season 15, because you've watched the show, you have a preconceived notion, you're figuring out how to quote unquote play the game.
Okay, so I haven't watched the show. I really didn't watch Bachelor, Bachelorette before. I think people use it even now as like I love it because it's really like a community event. I feel like it's an excuse to get together with like either your sister and your mom every Monday, or like your friends, and you're constantly talking over the show. Like one of my friends who we watched, I think Matt James's season with, I think it was during COVID. There was like 4 of us that would get together every Monday because there's like nothing else to do. And we'd constantly talk over her and she'd be like, can you stop? Like,
but you
please
didn't
shut
watch
up.
before you were on.
No.
Okay.
And I think it did me right. Not because I wasn't a fan. I honestly, I was just so busy working and cheering. It was like 2 full-time jobs. Like I'm just now in my 30s getting into TV. I'm like, where's my childhood?
Well, no, yeah, that's so true.
Yeah.
So were you doing it because you thought it would be a great experience, or you were really feeling like you were hitting a wall meeting people? Because I would think that you would do it as a girl in your 30s. It's going to have a great ride, a great experience.
Right. Totally. And like, I don't know, I can't say I really have an analytical brain. I think I have a really strong intuition. So I feel like I'm not going to break things down and try and super plan. I'm like, this seems right. It's fitting right in my life. I'm living in a month-to-month B&B. I've been single for years. I'm not having any luck. I'm in LA. Casting was in LA. I got to like meet everyone in person, which I think really helps.
And you're very social, obviously. You've worked in a very social environment.
Yeah. And like, I love new experiences. Like I tried out for the Denver Broncos like 3 times. I tried out for the Nuggets, like whoever, I'm kind of like used to like just trying for different things. So I'm like, okay, to me, it's kind of like another opportunity, another like dance team adventure. We'll see. I will say like, I'm a little bit of a hopeless romantic. So like, I don't think it has to be one or the other. Like, oh, you're going on for a new opportunity or to find love. It's like, I think both can be true.
What if I meet someone amazing?
Yeah,
it's an experience. Okay.
Right.
Also being you were a cheerleader in high school, I assume. If you got on to be a professional cheerleader, you must have been serious.
Mm-hmm. I was on the dance team. They call us cheerleaders because we have pom-poms, but we're all like professional dancers. I don't know if you know this. I was 2nd place on Dancing with the Stars, Bethany.
I do know this. And people talk about that as part of this whole program. Okay, so you were second. I was second on The Apprentice. So you were second on Dancing with the Stars.
Oh my God. High five for runners up.
High five for runners up. We should do a whole show with runners up.
We should. We need more
Clay
love.
Aiken could be on our show. So, but I'm saying now looking back, as we'll get into your relationship, it's just, you always like to surround yourself with girls. You've always been a girl's girl.
Yes. Always.
I mean, those are
a little too much, if you know what I mean.
I know. And did you dabble? Did you dabble in high school or college? Because that's sort of like a quote unquote fling or a phase in many college girls' experiences that they'll wink at their friends and talk back about. But did you have that experience? I never had that experience. I'm saying, like, I'm not saying there's anything right or wrong. I'm just saying I never had an experience with a girl in college. Did you?
Yeah. Honestly, no, not really. Like, I thought, as far as I knew, I was as straight as they came.
Really?
Like, yeah, I didn't know any different. I also grew up, like, I wouldn't even say conservative because politics wasn't talked about in my family, really good or bad. I mean, my dad was supporting the whole family and, like, a lower rank in the Air Force. Mm-hmm. So it's like I don't think politics didn't come up because we really didn't have like the affluence to like let it into our life. Like
you're just making ends meet.
Right, exactly. Our day to day was like SpaghettiOs, like we're living on base housing. Like I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You know, look at me now, like whatever. I have some beef with public school. Like
you feel like you didn't have the luxury to start debating politics, even though it absolutely affected you.
Right. Especially coming from like a conservative family that was in the military, and military bases a lot of the time are in middle America. Mm-hmm. So we spent a lot of the time not surrounded by liberal cities, which you think about it and then you think about like, okay, they're allies to gay people and fighting for their rights and stuff. But I was just like surrounded by straight people. I didn't know any different.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's funny because I did grow up in a liberal place. Well, I lived in like 13 places, but I went to high school in a liberal place. And even still, and I'm older than you, there was no one that we knew was gay in our high school. It wasn't discussed. So that's what you're saying.
Yes. And also I think like gay men are still more like have a little more representation. I don't think a lot, but it was like way more familiar for me to see a gay man who has like, oh my God, like, you know, we're best friends. We can talk about the same thing.
I agree.
Like this, but I had never, especially in my younger years, I have never really seen like a gay woman.
You make a great point. You make a great point because it's true. It was more like, it seems like that's something marketed as like a phase for a girl.
Yes.
Like a college drunk phase. You hooked up with a girl, but not
it's
like a real.
Hot. Yeah. You're like trying to impress the boys.
Exactly.
It's like there's an ulterior motive.
Yes. It doesn't feel valued. It feels more like anecdotal. That's a totally great point. So yeah, you were straight. You didn't think it was like saying I'm a giraffe. I'm not a dog. This is what I am. So you didn't question it. And that makes a lot of sense too. And did you remember the movie Chasing Amy?
No.
You've heard about it?
No.
It was, oh my God, you have to see it. It was it was one of the first movies that talked about a woman who's living in a traditional life. She was actually in a relationship with John Hamm. It was her boyfriend. And then she becomes a lesbian, and it's quite disruptive. But it certainly wasn't 2023. It's a great, you guys should watch Chasing Amy. It's amazing.
We love lesbian culture.
Yeah.
Anything
well, I'm
on
glad
TV.
I can help.
Yeah.
Okay, so you go on Bachelor, and you're going in to have an experience, and there's a bunch, you're going to vie for this guy. And I watched you really stand up for yourself during this process. Like I watched you come in sort of as the funny girl who is a little bit like me, Bethany, meaning you always get into trouble for saying something and you're not filtered, you're unedited. I related to that a lot, that he said you were the funniest person on the planet.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, thank you.
Like he said she's the funniest person on the planet while you guys were like tying shoes for a hike or something.
Yeah.
And then you go through this process and he manipulates you in a way. Like you felt like he wasn't, this is Clayton. He wasn't entirely above board in the process. And when I watched the finale, you really sort of were poised and held yourself really you were just very, very mature and polished, and there was just something very dignified about you. And you did not suffer fools. You let him know that it was not acceptable the way you'd been treated. So what was that like?
Thank you. I think just like, I feel like you take these experiences and you really think about it, and maybe like, it's like, I don't want all of this to turn into like the patriarchy and like I'm a feminist and blah, 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 but there's some conversation around it, like sue me. And I think like, watching, I don't think Clayton's malicious. I don't think he's like nefarious. I've always said that. I think maybe he hasn't being a woman comes with struggle. Mm-hmm. We know that as women. Mm-hmm. It's like something also that is implicit. You don't even really know you're struggling, I think, until later.
Totally.
And it's like, that's like the hardest part, is that you're almost like, nobody says like, it's okay. Like, it's almost like you're being like gaslit into thinking everything is normal. I was a nurse for 8 years, a female dominated field. We work under doctors. We're supposed to be subordinates, but it's like, you're not even technically my boss. You have a different discipline. Our goals are different. You're here to like treat the disease, and I'm here to treat the whole person and to take things into like a holistic account. Like, we have two different goals.
Right.
But I am treated like I have to take your orders and I don't really have a voice. Is it because I'm a nurse, or is it because I'm a woman, or both?
It's a dynamic that was set up like a caveman.
Same thing like teachers. It's like a minority female dominated field. Hi.
Hi, Robbie.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Where are you gonna sit?
Where do you want me to sit?
I don't know, babe.
Well, you want to sit there and then we'll bring her in after we get into the Bachelor stuff?
in the guest house. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
I know.
okay.
Why? Do you feel like we are talking about some of this stuff?
No, it's just like easier for me to talk about her if she's not here in a
I
good
think
way,
so.
babe. Babe, in a good way.
All right, so let's let Babe go to get a drink in
She
the
doesn't
bar.
she doesn't let me watch all her comedy either. So
You did come the other night.
I know, babe, but come on, it's the first
Babe,
one.
Babe,
Okay.
I want to be here.
No, go.
Babe should go get a drink in the car. You have to be shooting all this. Babe, oh my God, Babe. Babe, go
We're
get a
in
drink.
love. It's really hard for people to see.
There's sandwiches, there's snacks.
I got
Take
you a
Babe
tuna
into
sandwich.
Take Babe into the woods. Take Babe into the woods, the Babe in the woods, and then we're gonna get her, bring her back. Oh, thank you. Somebody likes me. Yay. I can't imagine why you.
She's huge.
We're going to get into when she comes back why you would even think of having me do it because it becomes very controversial these days to be on my podcast. I did not realize, but I'm being canceled and renewed at the same time.
It's amazing.
Yeah, canceled and renewal same day. Okay. So, all right. So you said, oh, yes, it's amazing what you're saying. Yeah, they're dynamics.
yes.
These are just dynamics that have been set in stone.
Yeah. So then naturally you think about it. So like whatever, it's like I'm kind of dating this man with other women. I understood what I got into, but it almost felt like new money. It was like a man who had just had power for the first time.
Oh,
and
you didn't like that he had all the power and you've walked into a dynamic where he had all the power. He got to just choose and discard.
Because I think he took advantage of it and he didn't really think about or regard our feelings. And I can that was always my thought going in. I'm like, honestly, just be honest, just be open. Like he compared all of us at the same point. It's like, you can't compare different women or different lovers. They're different. You have a better connection with some or not. But it's like, you can't say you love one more or this one's better. And
you're saying you can still be a good person even within this strange experiment. You can still, if I tell you what I need, which is for you to just always be upfront and honest with me, it may not end up being me, but I need you. Well, that's what happens when you're dating sometimes. I remember dating a guy who was a player. He had never really had a girlfriend. Yeah. And we really connected. And you knew that he was sleeping around every weekend. He just had that reputation and it's what was going on.
Yeah.
And there became a point where I said, this needs to be evolving or I don't want to do it. But you don't get to just pretend that because I know that about you, that's enough. You have to tell me you want to progress and move forward.
Yeah.
And just because you say, oh, she knew that I was that type of person, that's not enough.
Right.
You have to hold yourself accountable
Yeah.
and be responsible for the other person's feelings also.
Right.
And a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people say, oh, they know who I am. Like me saying,
But it's is that how you treat the people you love? You're also, the other party is allowed to have expectations and needs too, and I'm allowed to tell you what I need. If we're not being able to give the same thing, we're not a match, and that's okay.
You aren't equals in the
but
process.
But don't make me feel like I'm crazy for bringing it up. I feel like a lot of our dating culture has kind of gaslit women into thinking that we're not allowed to ask for what we want, and we have to settle for these guys who it's okay for them to sleep around. It's okay, they're just men. I have to wait until he's ready to not sleeping around. Would I ever do that to somebody? No.
Well, that was how the show was set up with men in the power position. And obviously then they did the Bachelorette.
Which that's different because it's a bubble. And I will understand, me going in, I'm I know you're sleeping with other girls. There's this meme of me with bedhead comparing me to the Bratz doll, coming in the next day because they had this conversation with us and the other girls. What were you doing last night? It's everyone knows what we're doing. Don't make me say it. It's a part of the gig. It's basically in my contract. It's not, but whatever. I'm in on it.
Yes, but in real life too.
In real life, it doesn't translate.
Well, no, but in real life too, you could say to your girlfriends, I'm okay with it. It's fine. We're just dating. And then all of a sudden it takes you over.
Right. If I genuinely felt like that.
That's what I'm saying. No, what I'm saying is on a show, you could get all the rules.
Right.
And you could have a rule even with the guy.
Yeah.
But when you get into real feelings, you can't play stupid and smart at the same time. If you have feelings, you're going to have a lack of irrationality. I mean, there'll be an element of irrationality because you feel something.
Right.
You could say it's cool, but it may not feel cool.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not trying to be cool. I'm not cool in a relationship. I just want to be myself, and I need I want to be seen. The last thing I'm going to do is try and play it cool. I don't think that helps anybody.
No. Okay.
And so I feel like he just kind of took advantage of his power because it was kind of led to believe the ending, he went back for the third girl, which it seems like he knew all along. So then it's like
You feel like a loser, a fool.
So it's like, why'd you sleep with me? And I can say things because I have been on the other side. I was the bachelorette.
Yes.
And I chose not to sleep with everybody if I wasn't like still deciding. I only slept with one person. Not saying it's the way to go, because like I think you can genuinely be conflicted.
Yeah, you can. And people do sleep with more than one person. It's their choice. But you're
Yeah.
saying you found a way for yourself to have integrity in that process.
Yeah.
I found it very compelling that you would go to the end with a girl and become really good friends with her. Like you were competing with her. How did you manage to be competing with her? Or was it really that you were like commiserating because you were going through the same exact experience?
I think it is a lot of like compartmentalizing, they kind of say. Like it is a new scenario, so you can't compare it to anything else.
Okay.
Which I think is a lot of reason kind of like why it does work in that world, because it's honestly it's not real life, so you're starting with a blank slate.
Yes.
So
yes.
I'm like,
even if you've watched it, it's going to be a new thing that happens.
Of course.
Okay.
And I just like always came in with an open mind. I'm like, honestly, at this point, I surrender. If this is going to be my man, he wasn't. Like the complete opposite of who I'm dating now, like a little Jewish woman. Like, and I was dating all these big white men.
I can't wait to get into this.
You could never give me what she can give me.
Right.
But I was just like, okay, if it's meant to be, it'll be. I'm always like, I'm never going to choose a guy or a partner or a lover over a girl, over a friend. Like, I do think there's this kind of innate, like, we've been through a lot of shit as women. We have to lift each other up. And plus, it takes two in a relationship. It's like they're choosing each other. It's not like it's not personal to me.
Right.
Like, it's not like anyone's like hurting me on purpose. It's like they're a better match. Okay, yeah, definitely.
Right.
You know,
You just wanted there to
like
be
that.
some ethics and integrity because you were putting yourself
Yes.
out there. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you feel that you were really in love with him?
I thought I was, because again, like you are in the bubble.
The bubble.
Yes. And like I buy in. I'm a good player. I'm a team player. Like I'm in on it. I think you can't come out alive. You can't go in doubting everything.
You can't play. No, you can't be half pregnant.
No.
You're in all the way.
Exactly.
No,
I'm full
get
pregnant.
It. That's what I'm saying.
10 months.
Yeah.
In anything I do.
No, but by the way, that's why I see myself in you a little bit, because in the Housewives, it's the same thing. And they always ask, it's such a weird question, is it real? It's impossible what's happening is real, but the circumstances, the bubble's not real.
Right.
So is it real that I'm talking to these specific women about this thing and fighting? Someone throws a leg on a dance floor, someone flips a table. Those things really happen because those are extraordinary circumstances.
Right.
So it's a bullshit question. Is it real? What you were
Literally.
feeling is real. What was happening is real. But you were living in Fantasy Island.
Right. And it's all contrived, but like this is also kind of like a job. Like for you, it was like your job.
Right.
Like I'm here. I know I have not even a role to play, but my job is to be here and be involved.
And be present and
be
engage
present.
and do what they need you to do and do what you need you to do and make good Yeah.
And I hear it and I'm here. I'm a hard worker.
No, you're on the field and you're putting your heart.
Yes.
That's exactly.
Yeah.
It's a work ethic thing. I fully get it. I really relate. That's very interesting. And then, so you have your show with Rachel. You guys are you still close?
Yes.
Okay. And you go on this strange but fun girlfriend journey.
Yeah.
And you meet this guy, Eric, and I'm sure that the whole world thought this. It didn't track in the engagement. It felt awkward. It felt weird.
Yeah.
Just watching it felt like, okay, we're on the show and we're supposed to be doing this now.
Yeah.
And the clock's, run out. So what was that all like? And what were you together saying to each other about it?
Yeah, definitely. And I think there's a lot you like don't see. So I do feel like I was really connected with him. I'm like, okay, this could be it for me. We had great banter on the show. It seemed like seemingly he kind of like had his shit together. He really chose me, which was nice. Like, I know people are like, I just want to feel chosen. But it's like in my dating like life, I never really had someone besides Robbie like stand up and really choose me. Like, yes, that's the one I want to be with, like screaming.
And he really did. He really loved you.
And he did. Yeah. He kept coming back for more, like even throughout everything. And I'm like, okay, I can tell he wants to be with me. I think, it was like all the other storylines that kind of confused things. It was like Jason, he was like very quiet, very afraid of cameras. Mm-hmm. So we just couldn't get anywhere because he literally thought he was in a simulation. I'm like, I can't like meet you as a person if you're so afraid of everything else that's going on. That's why you have to buy in. If you're agreeing to like be on this kind of television, do this kind of work, you have to like be okay. I'm going to do it. I trust myself and I'm going to be myself. But it's like our relationship relationship couldn't really progress.
Well, also, I think that, listen, I'm older than you and I've been in many relationships. And I do think that as you get older, your priorities change. And I've had the thought in my life, wow, I love this person so much because of how much they love me. That's one way. And some people say fall in love with someone who loves you more than you love them.
Yeah.
Some people marry for money. Some people marry because it's a good fit, because it's an arranged marriage, because it's a religion. Like, there doesn't have to be like one puzzle piece that fits, which young girls like to think that there does.
Yes.
But if you plucked you and moved you to Malaysia right now, you might meet someone else. It could even be a man. Like, it's not, it's the ocean. It's living and breathing and moving.
Yes. It's all fluid.
Yeah.
Just like water.
Yeah. And just like sexuality and just like choices and partners.
Yeah. Okay. Bringing it back full circle.
Bringing it back. Okay. And why do people say that Dancing with the Stars contributes to a breakup?
I don't know, but it's literally not true. First, like, Eric and I lived in LA at the same time. We were in the same city. Some people have like done Dancing with the Stars in different cities and like have made it through.
Right.
I think it's an excuse because a lot of times it's right after filming The Bachelor. So it's like, because of the timing, they're like, oh, it must be dancing. It's like, not that we were in the real world and now we're just figuring out we're not a match because we're not in the bubble. And I'm figuring more about this person and like learning I'm not compatible. Like, would have done that with or without Dancing with the Stars.
Oh, yeah. Because, you know what, I did want to ask you, just as the first person I've ever interviewed in this experience, I met Tyler Cameron, but I haven't interviewed him yet. But you said you grew up very middle class and Chef Boyardee SpaghettiOs.
Yeah.
So how is a show like that? It is the bubble, but how is that? How does that show reflect real life in any way? Because if you could fall in love with a frog if you go on this amazing, gorgeous helicopter ride into an exotic Polynesian island to rose petals at the dinner table. Like, and then you have to go back to SpaghettiOs.
Right.
So, and like, there's no discussion of therapy. There's not really a lot of discussion of religion. There's not a lot of discussion of politics. So the bubble's even more bubbly than just saying the bubble of a reality show.
That's very true.
When a relationship, money is one of the biggest things that people discuss in relationships and they argue over.
Yeah.
So how does that even get discussed? Like, this is not real life. Like,
you try and discuss it. Like, I will say, you don't know you're not discussing it when you're there. It's like you try and like ask the questions and you try and really get to know the person. I think like if somebody is like a different class than you, like very like super duper rich, which I'd probably be like, hey,
right.
I'm like, yeah, even more.
Right.
But it's like my girlfriend, like, money is really, she grew up really poor. So one of the first questions she asked me was like, do you come from money? And I'm like, I don't think so, because she needs somebody to relate to, especially being in the industry that we're in LA. Like, you don't know where you're coming from, kind of how level your head is.
That's what I'm saying to you. As much as religion is something that you might want someone that is, going to raise your kids Catholic or Jewish, or that someone not coming from money and someone coming from money is a very different experience, and you can resent it, or the person can't relate to your struggles. And being on that show, you're sitting next to someone eating caviar, and then also that person's not going to be able to give you caviar when you get home, theoretically, unless there's some prince. You know, it's very unrealistic. And they don't talk about things. There should be a modern version where they do talk about therapy. And
which I will say,
and
we do have resources now. We have therapists on site, and like afterwards they give you lots of access. So I will say that therapy was actually heavily involved kind of in like Eric and I's relationship. And
you mean for the couple?
They do both. They do
yeah, that's what I meant. I meant for the couple.
Yeah, you can seek it out if you want it for the couple too.
And like, they don't talk about prenups, like a realistic thing. It's fantasy land where prenups are an important part of life.
Literally, we should talk about prenups.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about it.
Well, you better know at some point if you're going to do some shotgun wedding at my house. I have a beautiful cottage. You could do your honeymoon here. You see the duck in the front. We can get married. The duck will marry you. Oh my God, we're having a wedding.
Okay. But I will say, you do your best to have those conversations and just try and get a grasp for the whole person, which I am a really good judge of character. But also, because of the bubble, I trust myself and to bring, you can pretty much like read me like a book, like my heart's on my sleeve. The more you talk to me, of course, the more you find out. I think I can read other people too, but it depends on how much you give me. And a lot of people aren't bringing the same amount to the table. I felt like nobody was willing to like really kind of air out their shit as much as I was. So then going into the real world, it's like, it didn't matter how many questions I asked you. I would go on a limb and say you lied to me.
Right.
You know, just to get through.
Yes,
so.
yes. And that's not the way to start. So you were very, okay. So we'll get into your relationship, but I want to attribute it to the show for 1 second. Do you feel that in not being with a man now, that you're somehow letting some of your viewers down, or that they invested in this journey and that you went on a different path than they thought you were on?
They might feel like that, but
Do you think they do or they don't?
I don't really know, honestly, because it's like we know our position. Like we have so many people that have an opinion just by like literally having an Instagram that it's like I can't really buy into that at all. I don't really have the space. Like this, it's almost like hard to say. I think love is the great intangible. It's hard to really explain. It's hard to like accurately articulately convey. But when I'm talking about my relationship, it's literally not so much that like I'm in a relationship with a woman. It's like I'm in a relationship in love for one of the first times.
With a human being. You connected with a human being and she happens to be a woman.
Just the same. Yeah. It's like I'm not even seeing her gender. Like I honestly do think real love transcends gender to a point. And I truly feel like that. So it's like if my fans, I do think my followers and people who wanted my journey, like I do think now they just want to see me happy. They fell in love with me. Not just because I was dating, but because of like my whole personality. They hadn't really seen someone like that on The Bachelor before. So it's like, I'm going to throw you for one more loop.
You're bringing them on the journey. You're saying that you're not acting like this was a secret you were keeping because it's not.
Right.
You're saying this is a development in my life that we're going on this journey together.
And if you wanted to be happy for me for any relationship, it would be now because this is the happiest I've ever been. I feel like I'm a prophet. I have to spread the good word about what it means to be in a good relationship. I think I've finally been taught about what love is for the first time. And I feel like I've been like, just like told wrong my whole life.
Well, Robbie,
so not even just gender, but just what it means to be in a relationship.
Robbie's a human being on this earth that you fell in love with. It could have been a man. It could have been, right. Yes, okay. That's what I'm saying. You fell in love with a person. It doesn't have to be in a box. It's not a label. And that's difficult for America to understand. So I think you might be a prophet because it's good to explain to people that.
Not like thinking I'm like above. First of all, okay, I have to always like lesbians think they're better than everybody. And I'm
They do?
Yeah. Okay. They're like pretentious. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. So like, I'm sorry. I'm here.
Okay.
But like also
maybe you are
it's
better
just
than everybody. We don't know. We'll find out.
I think it's the better option. Obviously, I'm here.
Right.
But like, when you're ready, come to me.
Okay.
It seems like you're doing fine.
Yeah, that's right. You're like the leader of the cult and you want people to come to you and be in your lesbian cult. Okay, I get it. So, all right. So how do you meet Robbie? So you obviously are a person who's attracted to humor, which is, by the way, not lost on me because you met a person who is a comedian.
Yes.
And the Clayton said about you that you were the funniest person on the planet.
Yeah.
So I'm a person that could never be with someone who isn't funny or doesn't appreciate humor. Like, it's a requirement. I'm a comedy snob. Like, I don't understand people that aren't funny.
Oh my God, you have to see Robbie.
Okay.
She's literally the best.
All right. So how did you guys meet?
We met outside of a bar. So I was like I went on tour with Dancing with the Stars.
Okay.
And whatever that was an experience. You're literally like in and out of like YMCAs, like living on a tour bus. There was 12 of us. Like honestly, I felt like it did something to my psyche that is like a deep state meditation because I couldn't even focus on like day-to-day things because you're just trying to stay alive. You're like waking up in a new place every day. You're sleeping in literally a moving vehicle. I thought I was going to die.
I went on a tour I went on a tour with a new baby, and it sounded so cool before you did it.
It sounds so
and
glamorous.
And then you feel so dehydrated, so exhausted, so dirty.
Yes.
So dirty and wired at the same time. I know exactly, but you did it.
You can't get any sleep. You're always on with like the lights and like performing live. It was crazy.
Right.
So maybe I blame Tor. I don't know. If we want someone to blame, let's blame Tor.
Okay.
Anyways, we were watching Perfect Match, the whatever dating show on Netflix.
Okay.
And they had like a queer storyline with two girls. It seemed very genuine, like as genuine as it could be, but it was the first time I saw like girls who I kind of identified with. Like, first of all, they're on a reality dating show.
Right.
We wear kind of the same clothes. Like, it's like what, like, you know, whatever. So I'm like, okay, this seems genuine. Like, I feel like, you know, we stereotype people, and it's like when people talked about lesbians, it was only girls who like carried themselves a little more masculine.
Yeah, exactly.
Which that's like
the quote unquote guy in the relationship, which is such bullshit, and also a label.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
Like not really gender norms, and that's like a whole different discussion.
Right.
I feel that's like too much to get into.
Right.
But anyways, so it's like, okay, this is clearly sparking something in me. I also have one of my best friends is queer. She's in a relationship with a woman, so it's like, we hang out. I'd like ask her questions. Apparently now everyone tells me her name is Bridget. She's going to love that she's getting a shout out.
Hi, Bridget.
She's going to die.
Okay.
Yeah. But like after I met her, I told everyone else that she made me question my sexuality, but I literally don't remember. I like blocked it out of my head.
Right.
And now when I come back to my friends, they're like, I remember when you met Bridget and you were like, I'm questioning my sexuality. I'm like, don't tell her that. She's going to get such a big head. I don't want to piss off her girlfriend either.
Right.
Like we're all such good friends. But yeah, she was kind of like my Sherpa in a way. So I told her when I moved back to LA, she took me to all these queer events, like 2, I guess. I think
it's interesting you said I was questioning my sexuality because people question their faith.
Yeah.
People question their careers, different things in their lives. And so you actually like had a moment where you were questioning your sexuality, which is not something that most people even indulge in. Not that it's an indulgence, but that they even allow themselves to think because of the way that they grew up or where they live or what their lives are. That's an interesting thing. Sorry.
And I was 30 at the time. And Bridget is like very much, she's like so cool. She lives in the east side, like of LA, if anyone knows anything about that. Like grew up in Seattle. She's just herself. Mm-hmm. She's not really like one way, like super masculine, super feminine. She's just herself. She's just, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And it's like, okay, this
comfortable in her own skin.
Exactly. And I feel like that's everyone's goal. I feel like that's Robbie. I feel like that's me. Like we're just like very comfortable being who we are. So I feel like that kind of opened up my mind too. Like she wasn't like a stereotype.
Right.
So we met outside of a bar. Bridget's girlfriend is a fan of Robbie's comedy.
Okay.
Had seen her on podcasts and like knew that she did stand up, and they know I'm attracted to humor. So Kyle, Bridget's girlfriend, oh my God, she's also going to die. As we were walking out, Kyle wingmaned Robbie, went up to Robbie. You have to let her tell the story too.
I will.
Because like it's like whatever. Really funny when she tells it. But and Robbie was kind of like questioning like Kyle's intention. She's like, have I met you before?
But
like,
do you
a
think there was an
fan?
intention of a setup or not at all?
Kyle wanted to introduce Robbie to me. So that was a setup, but it was like happenstance. We just happened to be at the same bar.
But because she thought she'd be into you, but would she have thought that you would be into her? It wasn't even that well thought out.
Yeah, no, nobody.
Like you'll think she's hot.
Yes, nobody knew. They were like, I don't even know if this is Gabby's type, but like we're gonna just like see. I feel like a lot of it is like, you know.
So your friends
chance.
were really thinking there was a chance that you might want to.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Venture out.
Yes. Oh, at this point, I was like trying to like date girls. I'm like, I want to explore my sexuality. I had been on a date with a woman. I was on Raya. Like women. So I was like, I want to give it a shot. And like, I liked being on a date with a girl.
But this was quiet. No one knew in Bachelor Nation or the public or just your friends.
I didn't put it on Instagram. Just like I wouldn't put anything.
Right.
Like a first date really. But we're in public and queer events. Like there's like line dancing every Thursday and people have seen me there. I was like getting DMs and stuff. So
but
like
there was a time when but you weren't, there was a time when you came out. No one really knew what you were doing. You're just hanging out with different types of people.
It was like I was out in my personal life. Like all my family knew, all my good friends knew. Robbie and I were kissing in public.
Okay.
But it's like no one outed us luckily, which was another reason why we had to do it.
Okay.
Because it was like, you know, we really obviously took to each other.
So you meet outside and what?
Yes.
Okay.
So Robbie had no idea what Kyle like wanted to do with her. She's like, do I know you? What do you want with me? And then she like looks over at me. She's like, who's that girl? And she's like, oh, you might recognize her like from TV. And Robbie was like, she kind of looks familiar. I don't know. And Kyle was like, she was the Bachelorette. And then Robbie came right over. She's like, what's this? The Bachelorette's gay? Like, what's going on? Like, had us all eating out of the palm of her hand, just like kind of, winning us over with her charisma and her humor, was asking me all these, like, she was like, how old are you? And I'm like, I'm 32. She's like, what's going on? My friends were like speaking for me because I was just like kind of stunned. I'm like, we were all like kind of drunk, whatever. And my friends were like, she's exploring. Robbie's like, how old are you? And I was like, I'm 32. And she was like, okay, you're gay. Like, nobody explores this late in life.
Really?
Yeah. She's like, okay, if you're like making this big of moves, like you're gay. And then asked me.
Do you agree with that? Do you think that nobody explores this late in life?
I don't know. No, I think it was probably just her like very like sly, but she like obviously just wanted to date me.
Right.
So she was like winning me over,
right.
like, throwing it all on me at one. And she's like, I'm not going to lie, Gabby, like I want your number. That's how we left things. And then she like literally rushed home. She keeps her planner, a physical planner, because she's like a boomer. And like gets time zones confused.
Right.
So she ran home.
I wonder if she ever had a Filofax. It's the best. I love a physical planner, by the way.
Oh my God, she probably loves it. Yeah. And then we went on our first date and the rest is history.
So you've been inseparable since your first date?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, so let's get into the brass tacks now.
Okay.
So this is a monogamous relationship.
Yes.
And you've discussed that.
Yes. Oh my God. Right away. Like lesbians are so monogamous.
I imagine.
Like monogamy is for lesbians.
Monogamy is for lesbians.
Yeah.
Who is more jealous?
I'm pretty jealous. I think she could be too. We're both learning about each other, but we're both open about it. Like, it's like we don't hide our jealousy.
Now, how are you controlling the excitement of you obviously opening Pandora's box for the first time, being madly in love, the pheromones, the oxytocin, like everything's going, and making sure that you don't go. Sometimes when something goes so fast, I don't want to say that it crashes and burns, but it's hard to sustain that. We've all been through that, where like you can't believe, you can't breathe. You have goosebumps, and it's like you don't want to be without the person. You think it's gonna be like that forever, but real life gets in the way, and careers and summer. So how do you guys manage that and what life will bring, and navigating just what this all is? This has got to be a lot for you to process.
Yeah, no, it is. And I think we're both very level-headed when it comes to it. And like in the beginning, I've been through it all. Like, it's like I was in therapy because I think I still had a lot of shame surrounding it. So I'm like, I had to work through that before I could really like go in this relationship guns blazing. And then we were spending a lot of time together like lesbians do, and new love. And I'm like, I don't know if this is just convenient or I'm really into it. And then things kind of started to slow down, and we're open about it. Like they always say communication, but it's like our communication is really, we work on it every day.
Nice.
And we really treat our relationship like a bubble. Like, we want to protect it. It's its own being. It's its own entity. We have to treat it separate. It's like we can't just like let one person fend for themselves. It's like, this isn't the agreement that we're making. And like, we're both like have our shit together. We're both very driven and career minded. So it's like the other day I was like, honestly, it's amazing. We're both like up in a flow in our careers because we do spend so much time together. That's so true.
You're both all boats are rising with the tide right now. This is good. You can help each other in different ways.
Right. But it's like, I respect her work so much. She grinds. She's out doing stand up every night, and I want her to. Like, I want her because that's what comes first. And I know she's going to be supportive in mine. But we're just so, like, we do work trips together. Like, we happen to be in New York. Like, we don't want kids.
And you don't want kids?
No.
Oh, that's a decision you made together. And you had that.
Well, both of us didn't want them separately.
Interesting. I don't think I knew that. Was that discussed on The Bachelor?
No.
Interesting. See, that I would think about these things that aren't discussed on The Bachelor. From, do you want to be in an open relationship? What about this? Yeah, that's an interesting thing.
It was like if I met the right person, then maybe I would have kids. Like, honestly, Robbie, I would love to see little Robbies, and I would love to see her as a mom because she's so hilarious and she's so present. But it's like, we both had tumultuous childhoods. We've both been through so much as kids. Like, we want to be kids now. We are kids. We play so much. We want to be able to have room for ourselves and really treat our relationship like our child. Like, that is our priority. We want to throw all of our resources into like protecting it and growing it and nurturing it.
And what about pets?
I have a dog. She has a cat.
Ooh.
Yeah.
How do they get along?
They don't right now. So we're like reading lots of material.
You need a therapist for that.
Yeah, we do. And hoping for the best.
You need a pet. You need Caesar the dog whisperer.
Yeah.
Okay, so Sally Hirschberger, the hairstylist, once said to me that you don't want to be a lesbian because they steal all your shit.
No.
So do you guys borrow each other's clothes or hair stuff or anything or nothing? Because I would not. I'm not into that.
No, me either. But it's like it's different when it's a girl. Like even when I was dating guys.
Well, I hope your man wasn't borrowing your hair stuff.
Oh my God, they would get into my shampoo and conditioner. And I'm like, can you pay me $10 each pump? Like that is so expensive, and you don't appreciate it.
No, and you have 75 colors in your hair. It's a maintenance project for you.
Literally.
Wait,
like, that is like liquid gold.
So you'll let her borrow your shampoo?
Yes.
Or use your shampoo?
Yeah, because it's like I love her like I've never loved anything. Like I hate sharing. I don't really share food. Like
I don't. Well, I'll share some food, but it has to be like
It has to be known to share. It's a shareable
That's
plate.
what I think.
Yes.
No. There's 4 pieces.
Right. Make our expectations clear.
I agree. When there's a big pile, because my fiance eats more quickly. I'm not a fast eater.
Yes,
so
she
he'll
does
just
too.
eat, and it's like, wait a minute, and I didn't like. I don't want to grab everything because I'll be sick, but it's like, he'll be like, I'm just sitting back. I'm waiting to see what you're going to do. I'm like, what? No, I don't want to have the pressure of telling you what I'm going to do with that food now. So yes.
I want to do it on my own time.
Yes.
See, you get it.
Yes, I really get the sharing of the food.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Paul will buy me an Hermes bag, and then there'll be like some vegan bar or some weirdo thing that I got that he would never want.
Yeah.
And we were in the store recently at Cinderella, and we were walking, and he said, "You know what I don't do anymore? I don't eat bars." Like he'll make a big statement. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And then they were these weird healthy bars, and then in the house, I only bought a couple because he said he doesn't eat bars.
Right.
So he comes out of the pantry and he's eating I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, literally, those are my bars.
No, we just discussed this. You said you don't eat bars, and now he could literally buy me an Hermes bag, but on the same day, I'd be like, what are you doing about the bar right now?
No, actually, I know there's some stuff that's off limits. My Evian water.
Evian water,
No.
Really?
Well,
why?
Like, because it's so good, and you buy it by the pack. It's so good. It's my favorite water.
I can't believe you care about branded water.
I don't. I only
I'm
care
a
about
tap girl.
Evian. Same. And coming from Colorado, it's no big deal. But if I get my hands on an Evian, or if I go in LA, you can't drink the tap water.
You really can't, even if you put a filter thing on your thing?
No, yes, and it's so annoying, and like it doesn't go on rentals. So I buy Evian when I was on Dancing with the Stars, buy like the 12 pack.
What does that mean? You can't drink what does that mean? You're gonna die? Like it's water.
It's like LA. It's so polluted.
I need to look. Yeah, but what's gonna? So is cigarettes and drinking alcohol. What's gonna happen? It's water. People don't have water. I just drink any water.
But when you find out, let me know, because I'm way too lazy, and I will trust that the water's bad for you.
Well, no, because you're here today. We got cases of water, and is that my fancy water? What is that? That
I
must
love
have been.
it.
Turn it. I think I heard Essentia. No, turn it. I want to see the brand.
Oh, Essentia.
Oh, Essentia. Gabby comes with
No, it's not good enough for me. Look, I only drink a sip.
Well, no, that looks expensive. That looks more expensive than Evian. I'm the girl.
It's not about the branding. It's about the taste.
I can't.
I will fight to the death. Anyways, much like the shampoo.
Okay. So who pays? What do we do about the finances?
Yes. So we split, honestly.
You split across the board.
Yeah, she's on strike right now. She's a writer.
Okay.
So it's like, I don't know if it's like, I don't really want to buy into gender norms. I think it's even like that within the lesbian community. It's like, Robbie's a little more masculine, but I'm like, we don't need to be doing that. Like
that shouldn't relate to money because she's a little more masculine. Now she's supposed to pay.
Like she doesn't exactly. It's like I'm with a woman because like I feel more emotionally connected because I feel safer like with your soul. I like your being like. Women, you don't have to explain a layer of each other. We know what it's like to be a woman. Like we think more similarly. I'm not with you because like I want you to pay for everything.
Right.
And I do well. So it's like, it's fine. I feel like everything's very fair.
Everything's fair. Do you want to get legally married?
Yes.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Interesting. Why?
For once, I think like, I think it's just like another way that we get to commit to each other. So maybe like my views will change. I don't really have political views on it, but I think for us, like I get to be a little more romantic and cheesy with girls, I feel. Like we are the most, like if you read our text messages, you saw it every 5 seconds, it's like, babe, babe, babe. We're like, we love you so much. We're like, do you miss me? We're like, right. We're always holding each other. Like you just get to be a lot more softer and loving. So it's like she asked me to be her girlfriend with the ring pop. And like we get
Really?
Yeah.
When? That's so cute.
So cute. 2 weeks in, and she wrote me a little card. Yeah, we are always giving each other cards. She got me these earrings for our 3-month anniversary,
which is a big one.
It's a big one. Yeah, we celebrate every month. So it's like
you're in it.
Yeah, but like if a dude were to do that to me, disgusting.
You'd be turned off.
Yeah,
you're sweating
you're
me.
an animal.
Stop. Yeah.
Yeah, like do not act like that.
Stop sweating me. I'm turned off. That's amazing. All right, so what about the sex? There's new hardware, new things to learn.
Well, not really new because I have one. So I would go to say
But
that
you're
it's
not
like
that
familiar
flexible.
hardware. Well,
I mean, you haven't been trying. You didn't test yourself
Right.
for years. So I'm saying,
yeah. I mean,
new
maybe I
hardware.
have.
To work. Maybe you have. I don't know how flat. You are a dancer.
Yeah, exactly.
You're a Gumby. I don't know.
Right.
All right, but new hardware to work with, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I think like also I feel safer with a woman. I feel less judged, and I feel like there doesn't have to be there's nothing off limits. If I have a question, I'm going to ask before, after, during. We'll debrief on our sex life. You know, it feels just like very safe, where as a man, I felt like there was sometimes unrealistic expectations. I felt like there was unsaid expectations.
Yes, you're in your own head.
Yes.
And you don't know what someone's thinking. And that's interesting.
Yeah, because we weren't just like as open about it. Like we weren't speaking the same language. I didn't feel as connected. So I feel like that part has been like really freeing for me.
Nice. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. It's like this one thing people will talk about anything, but you don't often talk about sex to your partner. It seems strange.
Yes.
You know, it seems like a weird topic because it seems you're not supposed to talk about sex in bed, and you're not.
Right.
But then what are you going to do? Like at lunch, just like, let's talk about sex.
Right.
It can be
Like,
awkward.
yeah, exactly. And with us, like, yeah, it's a little awkward, but it's like it's worth it because we want to talk about everything and we want to make sure the other person is pleased and happy. Like sex is fun.
Yes.
And it's freeing, it's liberating, especially when you do it with someone that you feel safe with.
Yes, you have to feel safe and trusting at 100%. Then that's so true. And you have to respect the other person, I feel like.
Yes.
You have to respect somebody to be sexually attracted to them, I think.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And like I've dated, like I went through my phase in my 20s where it's like I slept around and I was like, I'm doing this for me, like don't slut shame me. But it's like, is it that? Or like, was I kind of manipulated into this thinking because like that's what the men were doing and I wanted attention?
It's funny because the word I've once called someone a name and have been said to have slut shamed them. And I think about that as a term in general, just because if someone decides to sleep around with a bunch of people, are we and sometimes cheating, and are we supposed to respect that? Like, am I supposed to think that's great? That doesn't mean that I don't have to think that's great. Maybe I don't have to use a word to assign to it, but I don't have to think that's great necessarily. Like, I don't have to think that's a great idea any more than I do someone just, cursing out everybody around them. Like, just it's like you're curse shaming. Like, I'm allowed to not think that that's a great idea for my daughter, for example. I don't want her to sleep with a bunch of different people, maybe.
Yeah, I think it's just like, I think we all need to understand actually the intentions of our actions. Like, it's like I felt like I was standing up to the men and it was like internalized misogyny almost. Like, I can be just like you. And like, even though I'm a woman.
It felt empowering.
Yes, but it wasn't.
Yes,
it was
exactly. I
sad.
agree.
And it was desperate for me. Like, but that's for me coming out on the other side, And it's like, no, I was just so down bad and I wanted attention. And like I used that like as a scapegoat.
I've seen that a lot. I remember the girls that I grew up with that were very advanced and very what we call promiscuous. And I see they were hot and it seemed like they acted like they were in control, but there was a sadness. I get what you're saying.
Right.
Like, it can be confusing.
Yeah.
That's
and
very
I think
interesting.
it's just because, and like now I know sex, it's like I need an emotional connection. And with Robbie, I feel very emotionally connected.
Yes. So what did Eric say? Someone you were engaged to, your family knew. What did he say?
Nothing, not a peep. Haven't heard a word.
Really?
Yeah, from like a lot of my previous ex-boyfriends, I haven't heard anything.
Really? Not just like, I'm so glad to see you're happy or congratulations?
No, I think either they're all taking it personally, or I have noticed like even I saw some friends this last weekend, some nurses. We went to Vegas for the Beyonce concert, and like they were
amazing?
Like, it was so great. She's literally an earth angel. She's like so flawless.
Right,
it's
beyond
wild. But they were like, we're getting all these text messages from my previous coworkers, like, did you know? Like, what do you think? Instead of like texting me directly.
I
like,
find that too.
Congratulations.
So funny you say that.
Yeah.
Or just, wow, interesting.
Right.
Anything. I know I find that all the time.
Yeah.
So many people will be talking about something. I won't get one text about something.
Yes.
So it's very.
When on Bachelor, Bachelorette, Dancing with the Stars, my phone would blow up after anything. And now it's like, I'm clearly so happy. Like, I'm like, thank God we did this. We have another reason to celebrate our relationship. And
like, you want to see the text now, not about Dancing with the Stars. You want somebody to say, that's so fascinating. Do you think that maybe that the men feel like not only rejected, but that they must have been defective or something because after being with them, now you've gone to be with a woman. Do you know how that happens? Sometimes people feel like they took that personally.
Yeah. Oh, there's something going on. I don't know what, because it's like I'm still new to it, and I cannot understand men, but I'm sure it's personal and their egos hurt. That's all I know about them.
Well, maybe we'll find out after this. This will be now. I'm invested in knowing what the real answer is about that. And what about? So your grandfather was like a breakout character, right?
Yes. Yeah.
What about him? He's got to be old school.
Yeah.
What does he think?
He honestly, like, we haven't talked about it. I know, like, Bachelor Nation is gonna be like, but it's like he's 85. Like, let him live. Like,
right, and that's also icky. He thinks he doesn't want to talk about having sex with a man either. For the most part,
totally. Like, he's never asking me who I'm dating,
guy or girl.
Exactly.
Right. He was on the show and that was fun, but he's not really talking about are you connected or you.
Right. Like, he's my grandpa. Like, you know, he'll like slip a check. Like, we'll have a laugh, kind of talk about his previous life. He's lived a million lives, but it's like not really like about
that makes
dating.
sense to me.
Yeah.
You don't need him to like be. Yeah, exactly. He doesn't need to be on this interview talking about how he feels about you being with a woman.
Totally. It's not going to affect him. He's going to bridge every Tuesday, Thursday. Let the man live.
Let the man live.
Yeah.
And your high school friends, people you grew up with, everything, like you feel, is there anybody that you feel strange around or weird or uncomfortable? Or knowing it, like being like, I wonder if they know.
I think not specifically and not strange, but I do feel like people don't really know how to ask questions. They're like kind of afraid or think I'm different or somehow have changed like completely. I'm like, no, I'm literally exactly the same. If anything, like I'm more myself because, you know, when you're in a good relationship, it gives you the confidence to like really be yourself.
Yes.
So I've felt that. But they're just like, I don't think they're less interested. I think they don't know how to be interested and don't want to hurt my feelings. Because just like every other taboo topic, like in our country, like race and class, like people are just like afraid to
they're
ask.
going to say the wrong word.
Exactly. We've like done that to people.
Yes, that's true. I know. It's so funny because people act like we're so honest and open now, and it's not true because everyone says it. You should just say it, but everybody gets crucified for saying anything, for saying a word wrong, for getting a term wrong, and that's right. Everyone's stifled now and secretly talks about how they really feel instead of openly saying something. Maybe someone says something wrong to you, like I could say something wrong here with the language I'm using, you know, or in another conversation, a she, a they. You may not know the right words, and you get killed for something you just didn't know because you're ignorant. And if you spent all your time studying something, you wouldn't even be able to be open in life.
No, exactly. And then you're so afraid. And that's why I feel like Robbie and I like talk so much ad nauseum about everything, but we have similar enough and different views. We're both very like, nothing's personal. It does come from like a lack of education, not even that, but a lack of experience. Like it is truly hard to explain my experience to someone because you haven't been there.
And part of it's a new language. Yeah. It's a different language.
And it's totally fine.
Right.
Like it's okay. I understand that there's going to be a little bit of that disconnect.
So this has been, and we're going to have Robbie come in now. Like it's a long breathing conversation. I didn't see it, but I heard like the first time you talked about this was on The View, which isn't, who told you to do that? I'm just curious. Because I've been on The View.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and I just wonder who told you to do that. That was like a publicist or something?
No, I have close relationships with the people who oversee ABC. Yeah, and I didn't want to do a serious interview like GMA. Like, this doesn't need to be like a serious tone. Like, I'm a light person.
Right.
It's not like a deep journalistic deep dive. It's like, it's not like, I don't want to talk about my past. I just like want to be able, I need to stop somewhere and let people know I'm dating a woman because my fan base in particular knows me for dating men.
So that was where the first stop was. What happened on The View?
I thought it was a great interview. I think like it's a panel. I think there's different personalities. That's why The View is The View, and they have like a group of women with different perspectives. So I really don't think, I think they were great. I said what I needed to say, and like I can hold my own. Like I don't need.
I'm the same.
Yes, I don't need somebody to like baby me or be like, oh my God, like, oh, you're a lesbian. It's like, no, I'm here to like tell my story. I already feel empowered. This already feels good that you're giving me a chance to say this, or other people would write my own story for me.
No, but I'm like you. I like a little heat in the room.
Yeah,
I like
same.
a little, like I don't prepare. I don't need to like look
Yeah.
at questions. Like hit me.
Right.
You like it. You got to.
Yeah.
You're challenged by it. You
Yeah.
enjoy it. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. what made you come to talk to me? I'm so flattered. I'm so honored.
No, me too. Thank you for having me. I think we were thinking, like, obviously I want to be able to discuss it in a long form way. Like, just naturally as a person, I have a lot of thoughts. I have a lot of opinions. I'm naturally introspective. This is something different that's happened to me later in life. So
Yes.
like, I would love to be able to talk about it, especially since it's so different from my history. And my publicist spoke really highly of you.
Awesome. All right. Well, tell her thank you.
Yes.
I'm
and
excited.
love iHeart. Like, I've worked with them before.
Amazing.
Yes.
Have you thought about podcasting?
Yes, we're shopping right now.
Are you doing one together or are you going to do one on your own?
Yes. She
We
has
should
her own
talk
podcast.
if you want to talk about
yes,
one. I
would
think
love
I think it'd
to.
be great. I'd like.
Yeah.
It was something that I don't know. Like it's not doesn't define you, but something about the exploring your sexuality thing. I think that's an interesting jumping off point of our podcast, so we could talk about it. Enter Robbie, who just said she's so. What'd you say? She's so gay, it's crazy.
It's crazy.
Like she's the gayest person you've ever met.
She's very gay. She makes me gay.
She's
People
like a-
think I was always gay. This is the gayest I've been. People,
That's
people,
not
my friends
true,
say
babe.
that in my life.
I know, but I don't believe it.
Babe.
Babe.
I'm
Babe.
saying, look at me, babe.
Stop.
She literally is like leaping like a unicorn gay. Like
It's
she's
crazy.
all right. So this is hot and heavy. Like
Yes,
this
we're
is,
very serious.
this
you
is
don't want to
hot.
see us make out.
I do. I mean, I think I already have. I think I already
You have
have.
to tell the story of when we met.
Did you not?
I did, but you tell it better.
You don't think I say it accurately?
No,
Is
I
that
do.
why? Are we fact checking? Let's fact check.
No, okay.
No, she
Yeah.
said that she
You say it
had
better.
explained that she was dabbling and had said to friends she was exploring her sexuality. I like that term. No,
Yeah,
no.
no. But at 32, you explore. You're a teenager.
I told you.
Right. Well,
Exploring.
when were you exploring your sexuality?
You know what? I didn't do nothing, and suddenly I was gay.
when? What? How old?
Like, I swear, like, I wasn't, like, I gave hand jobs, like, I was doing, like, attention.
Babe.
She's like,
You've both seen penises before. We understand. We came in
not
knowing
in
that.
front of me, babe.
Oh,
okay,
wait.
babe. Anyway, ninth grade, I did pretty well.
Okay.
You know, I was kind of a cute girl. I'm low-key pretty. You know, and I
Your
did okay.
beautiful
Thank
skin.
you.
Yeah. She goes,
does.
thank you before I even said
No,
it.
she does. No, that's her favorite
No.
thing to say. She's
Yeah.
like, I have
No, you do
beautiful
have,
eyes.
You do. You have beautiful eyes.
No,
People say
it's
you
like,
are very
since this
pretty.
happened, some people
You
DM me and they're like,
are.
Gabby's with this, like, this one, like, what's she do? Like, you know, ugly. And I'm like, I'm actually a cutie.
No, you are pretty.
Yeah.
Perfect features.
No,
like
you
perfect
are,
teeth.
babe.
All of it.
I know. She doesn't do anything for her skincare.
Well, you're not wearing makeup. You don't.
Yeah,
wear
but I
No.
was very like childlike for a very long time. Even though I was like hooking up, like we were doing, like you know what you were supposed to do, and I loved attention, and I liked flirting and whatever. But I was very kid-like for a long time. I was a real like goofing around with my friends. I wasn't into the whole hot thing, mind you.
Because it was
I
a
could-
diversion. You were like kind of trying to avoid.
No, I just was like so, and then suddenly I fell in love with a girl, and I
Fell
was
in
At what
love.
age?
Or I
No,
was
she's never been in love.
17.
This is fiction. That's why she didn't come
Okay.
in.
Don't say her name.
By the
babe.
way,
I
you were
dare
worried
you.
about her disrupting your interview. You were disrupting her
sorry.
interview.
Do you see this?
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah.
This
By the way,
I know she.
By the way,
yeah, but you have to
landmines.
watch what you
See, and
say.
they go
babe.
that's
after
what
the
your
Jews.
podcast
Babe,
should
you
be
have
called.
to be
Landmines.
They go after the Jews. We're interrupting.
No.
Okay.
Right. So you gave a hand job and you were dating a guy, which
So
we're
then
not
I
sorry.
fell in love with a girl.
Quiet.
She went, and that was it. I kind
Oh,
of,
sorry.
you know,
How old
and
were
then
you? That was when high
I was like 17, 18,
okay.
and
Sorry.
I got outed brutally, and so. You know, because I was outed, you know, people would tell me like, "Hey, I'm hearing some things about." You know, I had a best friend who tell me, "I just think it's really weird."
that you're
you know?
gay. It's
yeah,
weird.
and it wasn't like it's not even like the time. You know, this is like the mid 2000s. It wasn't like crazy time, but I did grow up in a more
No,
conservative.
it wasn't being discussed like it is now. Mid 2000. It wasn't. It
Yeah,
wasn't.
and I was like friends with a group of girls. Like we were like 8 like super close friends, and we were all kind of jappy. And I don't mean Japanese people, by the way. Hello.
No, if you know,
I
you know.
mean a Jewish American, a
Little
princess.
princesses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So. And I was so poor. And I went to this rich Jewish school on subsidy, and I was always trying to like kind of fit in and not make any waves. And I know I was on. My mother was like, "Don't, just be good."
Right.
Just be good. This is a great opportunity for you. And she was totally right. I got a great education out of it.
But she didn't want you to be gay and like.
But
ruffle
yeah,
feathers
yeah.
at
Let's
school.
not ruffle everything.
Yeah. And you grew up in a Hasidic household.
Yeah, I was born Hasidic. I have 9 siblings, and then we grew up more conservative. We moved to Canada. My mother's Canadian, and that's kind of when I explored. You know, when you're saying explored, was a teenager and all that. So when she
No, but
tells me
that's
she's
a headline to
32,
me. No, I'm just saying, like going from being growing up in a Hasidic household in Crown Heights to being a lesbian to being with someone on The Bachelor, like this is crazy.
No,
This is
I know. Hasidic to scissoring.
babe.
No, I know. Hasidic to scissoring. Dreams do come true. If you believe Hashem, I've not, no one but Hashem to thank. So it's wonderful.
She's like, I've never been more religious. And honestly, same.
You've never been more religious and you've never been more gay. Are you going to? So what about if you get married? What's the religion going to be in the household?
I'll convert.
She's desperate to. I've said nothing.
Yeah.
We don't need. At this point, when people
like,
go, does
no.
it important to you Jewish? Is it? It's over.
Because you already broke the. You're a lesbian.
We're not procreating.
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
Right.
But she's so
But
into it.
I get a Jewish history lesson almost every day,
Yeah, it's true.
which I love and I die for now. And there's so much culture. I mean, truly.
You would love
Talk about
Yiddish. It's a very
oppression.
funny language.
Yeah.
Have you taught her Yiddish?
Yeah.
She knows. She
A
says
little
something.
bit.
Say what you say.
Say something
I
Yiddish.
forget, babe.
Say things you say.
Verbissina,
Let's say something bad.
I'm
God
gonna-
forbid something. What do
Yeah,
you say?
God
Kinda
forbid.
hara.
I
No,
don't know.
Class.
Has.
Ve.
No, babe, just say it fast.
Chas v'shalom.
Has v'shalom.
Okay, what did you have to say yesterday? Baruch.
Baruch Hashem.
There we go.
Yeah, but you would love I'm schwitzing when you're sweating.
I know.
I'm schwitzing. I'm
She says
felling when you're
pish,
getting.
which I
I'll have to go pish.
hated. But now I almost caught myself saying it the other day. I like the numbers thing. The 18.
Oh.
So now when I was at the spa the other day and I looked for a multiple of 18 to put my stuff in, I'm like, oh, because this is probably good luck.
You're
Like,
going to be a Jewish lesbian is great.
Yeah, I'm like
It's just
buying
great.
in. Honestly, just for the fun of it.
She wants
I'm
a bat
just-
mitzvah.
I'm here. Yeah,
Yes.
I want another party about me. I'm here for a good
You
time.
need to have a bat mitzvah.
Yeah.
I want to go. I want to plan it.
Come
I
on.
used to plan about. Yeah,
oh my God. We'll do it here.
Yeah, wait, no, in
Yeah, no, we're
Greenwich.
getting
I have a
married
major
here.
property in Greenwich.
Okay.
We could do the bar mitzvah. I
excuse
want bat
me.
mitzvah. Sorry.
Major property.
I apologize. Wait, I'm
I
dying.
said
No.
the big story was not even the gay, that she dated a Jew. I said, wait,
Is
till
that
it
a
comes
bigger
out that I'm
story?
Jewish.
Well, she's very Jewish. She says she's more Jewish than she is gay.
Yes, that's
Your
very
words, not
intense. Are you fasting?
No, but I'm.
You fast for
I'm-
Yom Kippur.
Listen, I'm not an animal. Of course I fast for Yom
Right,
Kippur.
so would you expect her to fast for Yom
Do
Kippur?
you?
No,
I've
no,
we've
but
never
it's
talked
one
about
day. No,
this.
because it hasn't come yet. It's coming
It's the
in
Day of
fall,
Atonement.
babe.
It's coming up very soon.
It's coming in
You
the
have a
fall.
lot to
It's
atone
coming in
for,
the
some
I'll
people would
fast.
think.
I'll do it. Yeah.
No, I think Hashem is totally on our side. But anyway, I mean, he's blessed. I tell my mother, I'm like, how blessed am I? It's unbelievable.
Well, what do your parents think?
Well, my father's still Hasidic. We have no relationship. And my
Okay.
mother was dabbling, maybe gay at some point, but now she's Jew for Jesus. She's addicted to religions.
Wait, so you have no relationship because you're gay and it's just too big a
My
disconnect?
father's another disaster for another time, but
Okay.
yeah, he's very religious. So
It's
he
the
doesn't
disconnect is
discriminate,
too
yeah.
big, and this would be another.
Yeah,
level.
and I don't. He's not going. You got to earn. With everybody in my life, I think it's such a privilege for me to be in your life. Such a privilege then for Gabby to be in anybody's life. That if you don't come correct, it's no I'm not. I'm a delight. So to not have me in your life, it's like a you thing.
Right.
It's you actually suffer from that.
Right, I understand.
Yeah.
yeah, I get what you're saying. You're saying like you don't come with a lot of problems or drama. So
No, we just enjoy, and I'm close with a lot of my siblings. Even though I'm not and my mother is great and whatever, but I think it's different when you grow up in a family of 12. I have 9 siblings and 2 parents. You can't compare it to a 2-kid, 2-parent household because it's like there was this level of co-raising that happened.
yes,
And
it's also
so my
very Irish.
siblings-
Dennis Leary grew up in I think a family of 9, and they take care. You take care of each other.
Yeah, and so it's like I like having friends and I love my friends, but my sister. I mean, what are we even talking about here?
Have you met them?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You met all her. How many
Yeah.
sisters? do you
No,
have?
she's met a couple. The ones who are in
2.
LA. I have 4 sisters.
One of her sisters is watching my dog right now. Yes.
So you have
We're
a
very
family, a
close.
whole big
Yeah,
family
yeah.
now.
I know
it's a big family.
the best. Can't you see why I'm in love? It's like there's really
She's
no
a delight.
question. Yeah,
I'm
delight.
in.
I know.
I'm
Thank
in.
you. Yeah,
I can't believe I'm. I feel like you're a delight, but I can't believe I'm getting this right now. I walked into interview her. I can't believe this is happening. I'm so
good.
happy.
I know, and I think
This is
that's
like the
a lot
best
of
interview in the
people-
world.
And it's hard to explain it just like on paper. People see pictures of us. Of course, online has a lot to say, but it's like the second you meet us in person, it's like, oh, it all makes sense. Nobody can even be around us because we're so in love. It's annoying.
Right,
We
but
come
it's
from the
best
same
compliment.
cord.
Yeah.
First of all, before I forget, shout out to my sisters Chaya,
let's give everybody.
Devora, Yehudis, and my brother Shmuley because he's a big fan as well. So that's it.
Your brother
My shout-
Shmuley's a fan of mine.
Yeah, he's a big fan.
Yay!
love that-
Hi,
yeah,
Shmuley.
Yeah, watching years ago when you were on that show, it was you with Jill, period.
Well, she's going to be so jealous that she wasn't here. She's going to die. She's going to freak
But
out.
you spoke for the we felt like you were of the people for the people.
Oh, I appreciate that.
You were the Bernie of that show in our eyes.
I appreciate Shmuley. I
Yeah,
love this.
yeah,
Wow,
yeah.
amazing.
Shmuley, there
I
we
love
go.
this. You guys, I would say someone's going to definitely say that they want to do a reality show with the two of you. And I was going to say, be careful of fame. I know, no. No, don't. And don't ruin this because honestly, it can. And I was going to say, be careful of fame because it all is great and it seems fun and everything seems like a good idea. And I've been through that because it is the bubble. And you have to try to preserve it. And fame is such bullshit. And don't listen to the opinions and the way that people think that you look and preconceived notions. People are really fucked up. And on social media, what's happened now is that the people doing videos are the people you used to say, who are these crazy people in the comments? But now they're live. Like, remember you'd be like, who writes these comments? Like on these articles.
You know,
like,
I'm
the
not, but no,
craziest?
because I don't look at it. You know, I've been a comedian almost 10 years. You know, it's kind of a slower burn. It isn't like one of these pop-offs. I knew that, you know, once we got to it, and I'll tell our origin story. But, yeah, I'm around, you know, it's been a real nice, so this is like, I'm still doing what I do.
You're folding it into the batter. Each thing
like
that happens.
I always said, like, love or money, this is what I do to the day I die. I'm doing what I do. I write, I do stand up. This great, but it's not. It's just it all is very organic. I didn't go out of my way. There's nothing. I'm never on an app or something like
right.
this.
It just it's evolving naturally. But you also both grew up in crazy houses, so this all is part
that
of
was
it.
the second question I asked you.
Yeah, and we saw in each other like right away because I think obviously that translates to relationships and just like how you talk about things, how you want to be seen. So it was really a whole layer, a big layer that you don't have to explain yourself.
Totally.
Because
Crazy.
normally
Show you're
somebody
crazy
else
early.
who can't relate to it. It's like, how can I even begin to explain?
And for me, I
this
need
part of
that.
me?
I need that adversity. So for me, like when I asked her, so I don't know what you said of the story, but I'll say it. We were at a bar. I had a show that night. My friend, shout out to Rox. My friend wanted me to go just have a drink with her, catch up. I hadn't seen her in a while. I said, I have this show. There was like kind of like a sometimes this bar has gay nights, sometimes it's not. So it was more of a safe
queer
space.
event,
Yeah. And so I said, well, I can meet you there, but I can only get there late. You know, probably people gone. Who cares? We'll split a beer. So I get there and we have it, and it's kind of, you know, it's ending, and we're all saying goodbye. I have a drink with her, catch up. It's wonderful. And then I'm leaving, and I see a dyke like me, like looking at me.
I can't say that. Yeah, like her point of view is different.
I don't think I can say that either.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're new. I don't think you can say that.
Yeah, I'm a baby gay. I'm walking on eggshells.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah. But I'm like, you know, like a butchy, like dyke like me, and I'm not gay like that. So I'm like, oh no, she's looking at me.
Because you're in a package that people think that you're going to want to be with someone like you. Wouldn't.
No, but sometimes people like, this is so niche.
But I like
But in the
this.
gay community, you know, it's like, some people are doing mask for mask. Some boyish girls like other boyish girls.
Right.
Not me. I'm not gay like that.
Right.
Okay.
How does anyone know?
Well, for me, I don't know. Like,
It doesn't matter.
No one knows.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like what I like. I don't know.
No, I'm thinking stupid. Like, how does anyone know whether I like a man who's blonde or dark? You just figure it out.
You don't have a
Yeah.
type. But I
Yeah.
was like, this person was looking at me, and I was like, ooh, it's not, huh? So I was like, wow, so we should go. Blah, blah,
By the
blah.
way, Kyle is beautiful.
Very. By the way, so am I. By the way.
No, I know. It's the same. It's in the same vein.
I could be a color girl. We don't know.
Yeah, by the way, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Yeah.
But is this your type? This hot, like, she's...
No, just
look,
like it's not even like because I don't date, but because I don't, like I've had relationships, but I don't do like this. Like I don't know
Swiping, right.
necessarily a look thing. To me, it's like a connection thing. And that's why to me, I don't think I ever dated because I said, you know, you need times when you're, you know, whatever, not down. But when you meet someone, like I need to know, with my head, my everything, boom. Like I need to know. I can't be email.
Oh, you're not going to be able to
texting.
figure this out on an app. You need to feel
I
the
need a
energy
connection
and the
immediately.
intensity, and you felt it immediately with her. It was like a
Immediately. So this other butch, beautiful, shout out to Kyle, comes up to me and God, Hashem sends me some miracle and goes, oh, sorry, I noticed you from your stand-up. I saw you here, and it was wonderful. So me getting spotted in something like this, it's like, and
Everything
so
you
she's
want.
probably always spot, you know, so, but it happened to me. I'm like, oh, thank you, God. You know what I mean? This is why I say the Shema every night. So this
This
happens.
is why you say the Shema every
the
night?
Shema, it's a prayer. I
Shema.
still pray at night.
Okay,
It
good.
means to hear. And no, so she goes, oh, I messaged you a comedy. And I go, okay, well, never mind that. Who's this? Because she was standing with Gabby, who looks, one of these things does not belong at this. You know what I mean?
Was she dressed like this on this night?
No. So the thing is you can't really recognize her on the show because she had like, what is it called? Short.
But sexy. You were dressed.
Incredible.
Like I always
Got it. Okay, hot.
She hot.
Right.
Okay, hot is hot. So I go, what's this? And then Kyle goes, it's The Bachelor. I said, The Bachelor's gay?
Yeah, just like that. I'm like, I don't know what she's asking. Like, I don't know who she's talking to. What's going on here?
Last I heard from the show, I don't know.
Right, but have you watched the show now?
Yes. So the
Really?
thing is, because I thought
Lesbians
she looked
love
familiar.
The Bachelor.
This
Really? Lesbians love The Bachelor. That's a sentence I never thought I'd hear in my life.
Shout out to my friends Kathleen and Sophie. Sophie. Shout out to Kathleen and Sophie who throw a dyke night where we sometimes, if they're in the city. So I actually saw a few of her episodes because when this person was looking at me, recognized me, I thought I recognized her, but I'm
From life.
out for stand-up
Right.
so often that
Out
I'm
of
like maybe
context.
shows or whatever. Maybe she does stand-up somewhere. I don't know. So I'm always like, and then she said, I said, The Bachelor's gay? And then she said, well, I'm exploring. I said, well, how old are you? And she said, 32. And I said, you're gay.
Yeah.
And then I said, do you come for money or not? Because
It's like, I don't know how to answer this question correctly. Like, I don't think so.
yeah, and then
But
I knew
I
you
don't
did.
feel like when you said SpaghettiOs, you came from money. How did you not know how to
No,
answer
but
that question?
it was like it's like still kind of middle class. I mean, I didn't know I was wanting. Like, I wasn't like super, and I didn't
Yeah.
know where like the conversation was
I knew
going.
from that
Now I
she-
have money, so I'm like, ugh, I don't know.
Yeah, so I know
A little
that's
bit.
why I say
I'm
come.
sitting at your place in the Hamptons, like nothing like that.
We're
Like,
loving it
let's
here.
be clear.
Well, you guys could
And-
stay anytime you want in that cottage. You could
We're
make
so
it your own.
happy.
Don't
We
tell us
almost
that.
You
We
can,
would.
100%. It has a separate life, separate everything in there. You could stay in there anytime you want.
And yeah, I was just like, and no, your answer, I knew your answer because you said you weren't sure and this and that. People come from money, they say, I'm comfortable. You know, they say something like this. Like,
Yeah.
oh, we do okay. I think, or then
We
they,
do okay.
yeah, we
That's
do
a good
okay.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I knew right away. And for me, that is, people go, that's what you asked. It's like, to me, that's like dating inside or outside the faith. Like, some people say it's just easier to be with a Jew. It's just easier to be with a Catholic. It's just easier to date in the faith. You don't have to explain. For me, the coming from money versus not,
I said it
it's
to her
just
before.
easier.
Yeah.
It's never.
It's
It's,
just
literally
easier.
funny because I said to her on The Bachelor, it's never addressed. You come from a trailer and then you go eating in Mykonos on a yacht.
No.
With like, I don't understand. What are you going to do? Go back to the SpaghettiOs? Like, let's discuss it. People
Literally.
should discuss. I agree with you.
Because
And we do talk about money a lot. You were
Yeah.
like, you were pretty open about it. You're like, hey, I grew up poor. Like, I have money scarcity. This is something I'm always dealing
You have
with.
money noise.
Yes.
You have
even
money
though,
noise.
even though I have my, listen, I'm always going to be careful to the day, so for me, it's like, I don't want to hear, oh, you drive a nice car, you have this. Well, why don't you want to spend on this? I have trauma from it. So
have-
sometimes if I'm in a store, yes, if I have the money for, I'm not in the mood. I get a
I
weird,
understand. You
and
have-
so I don't need to explain or this and that.
I
and
get it.
sometimes so it's just, you never know where the trauma hits and stuff like that, but I don't need to explain. I think these peaches are a little too
you don't
high
want
for
to feel
peaches.
self-conscious. No, money's a very
Yeah.
tricky
Sure, we
thing.
can afford the peaches, but I'm not spending this on a peach.
I was once dating a guy who was
Even though I would.
like a waiter, like he catered, and you knew he came from humble beginnings in New Orleans, and we were with my daughter, and we were at CVS, and I was getting some stuff for the Hamptons on the way out, and I think it was like $100 and something, and I felt really uncomfortable because I didn't want to do this here because I didn't want him to think he had to pay for me because he was the guy dating me and make him stretch over, and I'll never forget, like I paid for myself, and then he was like, no, I'll get it, but I felt uncomfortable because for me, money does come more easily than it probably did for him, but I didn't want it to be that it wasn't discussed. And that is a stupid example of like that dynamic that can come up over peaches.
Yeah, I just want to know that she, and we're both doing okay now, but that how you do it when you're doing okay is very formed by
I
your
agree.
upbringing. So for me, it's really like dating in the faith. Because to me, I look at the country that way. I'm controversial in this way. Sometimes I don't care Republican or Democrat. I look at rich versus poor, period.
It's very
And
interesting.
that's-
You're the
that's the
first
way
person I've
I
heard that
look at
really
it.
said that in
Yeah.
that way. I've not really heard that, and I agree because I asked her that question about The Bachelor, so it's very interesting. Okay, so you guys have been together 5 months now. What do you think? What are you going to do
round up.
here in the Hamptons? You're going to go to my recommendations? You're
Yes,
gonna
of
We
be-
want
course.
your recommendation. I
Yes,
said,
we do.
she didn't want to ask you. I said, She goes, well, what can we say? I said, why don't you ask
She just
Bethany?
wants
She
to
goes,
use
well, I
your
don't want
name for everything. She's like, just throwing. I'm like, babe,
Yeah,
we're here. This is our first
I
time.
should say you're coming on Bethany.
Yes,
meet
I
her
agree.
first.
I agree.
What's even the point?
There's no point. I'll give you all the people to
Thank
call at all these
you.
places.
Oh my God.
Text me and be like, we can't get in, or we
Ridiculous.
want to do this, or
This
yeah,
is
of
the
course.
Jewish way.
This
Like,
is
what
my
are we
yes.
talking about?
And this is my
knew.
place, and yeah, this is my life, and yeah, you guys could stay in the cottage if your room isn't great. 100%. It's not just I'm not just saying that. Yeah, Paul, my fiance, produced a movie with
Mazel
Eliza
tov.
Schlesinger.
Oh, fun.
Called Good on Paper. I just feel like your story. You should talk to him. He's produced 12 different
Fantastic,
movies.
guys.
Like,
If you are wanting to make a movie, we're on a strike right now. I'm in development currently.
well, eventually, but I'm saying you
Yeah.
should talk to
Thank
him
you.
because
Thank
he
you.
did a movie just around a comedian, and it's a great movie. It's about dating. Good on Paper. It was #1 on Netflix. But you just remind me of like someone that he would love. It's just a great.
Fantastic.
You have a really interesting
Fantastic.
story. So, all right, is there anything we did not cover? Well, is Robbie the first woman you've slept with?
Yes.
Okay.
And the last.
Are you uncomfortable with the attention? Not from her, from everybody, and this being like a
No, it's
thing.
been really
she loves
positive.
attention. Let's not like get it twisted.
Listen, if it
She's
was like
also a
crazy, if
performer.
this was 1940, by all means. But right now, it's like,
It's a little fun.
I did okay, fellas.
Yes. You have
Yeah, it's not the worst thing that could happen to a person.
No, she's like right after we came out on The View, she's checking her name on Twitter every
Bet.
couple hours. She's
So
like,
when you're
"Let
on the
me-"
street and you're making out, like what are people like? Like have we made out in the Hamptons on the street yet, or what are people acting like?
and
I
new,
just got here.
All right, you
Yeah,
gotta go do some
but we
street
will
makeouts
be.
and
yeah,
report back to
and
me.
new people like after The View, people recognized us and they were taking pictures of both of us. They're like, "We're so happy
They
for
still,
you."
they're like I'm holding the camera. Not, I'll
there
take
was
a
one
picture.
that was when we were in
You
both.
know.
babe.
Well, after this, forget it. You're
No,
gonna
but
be
I
like
was really
security.
worried about it. Like when I was like, they'll find out I'm Jewish because that hadn't. For me, I was paranoid. That's an inherited trauma. I'm like, forget gay. They're
No,
gonna
I
find-
think that's your
okay.
own noise.
Okay.
I really do.
Yeah.
I don't think.
I agree.
And I don't think that's a thing. I
Yeah.
feel like Jewish lesbians are
No,
aplenty.
literally, I know, but in the Bachelor Nation,
I know, but they
Yeah.
have to. You said lesbians love
have
the
you
Bachelor.
seen a Jewish
Yeah.
Bachelor?
No, but I'm loving. Oh, that's interesting.
Have you seen a Jewish? And we could
No.
do the Bacher. We
Yeah.
could fucking nail
We
this.
could do the Macher. Wait, yes, we need the Jewish Bachelor. There needs to be a Jewish
Yeah.
Bachelor.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Jewish guys treat women phenomenally.
Yeah. The best. I had a type. It was Jewish, and it still stands.
No, and they should discuss sexuality more on The Bachelor. I know they won't. It's ABC, but they should a little bit. Like some people are okay with an open relationship. Some people are okay non-traditional. I think there should be. I think you talking is interesting. It just opens up a discussion. I think it's amazing. I think you're great. I was excited to have you on, but like this was like a fucking. This was like.
She's inside and out.
It's like a
this is
Russian
what
doll.
I say.
Yeah, this kept getting more layered.
Yeah.
This is like amazing, like pinata. Candy's flying out. It's all different. This is amazing.
you.
So I'm
Thank you
so
for having
happy
us.
for you guys. But
Thank
I want to
you.
like know you guys. Go live your life.
Thank you.
That was beyond. Like that was such an incredible conversation and such an amazing young woman. And Robbie was amazing. Like you just want the best for them. The lead that has been buried is that Robbie is one of 9 children born Hasidic in Crown Heights, Brooklyn. Like if you know, that alone is a story. Like that alone is a story. Then being gay, then getting into a relationship with someone who was on The Bachelor. Like each of their stories are so fascinating individually that then put them together. This is incredible. Like what an amazing duo. What a crazy story. It's really just about living your life the way that you honestly want to, living in your truth. Like it's your journey. You get one ride. They are in love. They are having the time of their lives. They are reaching the apex of their careers. The sum is greater than its parts. All boats rise with the tide. They came to my house. We had such a good time. We laughed. They're fun. They're entertaining. They're funny. Go for yours. I am so team them. This is amazing. I loved them. I'm friends with them. I know them. They can stay in my house. Thrilling. And I was talking to iHeart about how obviously different an interview this was from the Rachel interview, which I haven't really expressed that was a very sensitive interview with a very sensitive person at a very sensitive time in her life. Like it wasn't like a freak. Let's talk about, sexuality. Let's talk about food. Let's talk about travel. Let's talk about that show. It was about like talking about a very specific traumatic experience with emotional abuse and getting from there to here. It's just like to have those 2 interviews back to back is like being on a roller coaster ride because they couldn't be more different. And both to me, so fascinating and interesting in their own way. But wow, strong women, really amazing. So excited. Opinionated, strong opinionated women. Love it.